Welcome back. A quick recap of what we talked earlier is that what is metagenomics? We now know very well that metagenomics is the study of microbes in their natural environment, which involves studying them as complex microbial communities. And we study microbes as their genomes and we identify them as OTUs instead of a species. So how it is different from genomics is that in the traditional genomic methods we cultured the microorganism, meaning we will isolate the microorganism from the gut and then we will culture that and then isolate the DNA to identify that. But here we isolate all DNA from an environment, amplify and characterize and identify them as a species. But the important point here is that we should have already identified the species to perform these metagenomic methods, meaning we have to have a reference data here. So again, summarizing, in metagenomic process in the study of gut, what we'll do is we'll isolate all DNA from the gut and then we will determine what genes are available, what genes are there, we'll try to give them a name and we'll try to know what function these genes are performing there. And how do we study that is that we have few steps. I think I can take them one by one. Is sample preparation, DNA amplification, quality check, OTU picking and taxonomic assignment. So I was a bit quicker, but still I am taking all these steps one by one now. The first step here is sample preparation. Sample preparation has become very easy nowadays, that especially in the gut, in case of gut, we have lots of samples, biopsy samples, tissue sample, we have standard protocols, kits available and we can isolate all DNA from these gut samples. And the important thing when we are studying the microflora, you just don't need to run, you not only need to run the negative control, but you should also run a positive control. And there is another thing that is called as mock community. When you are trying to identify all the microorganisms in your gut, what you will do is you will run one sample where there is no gut sample. You will run one sample with known microflora, like in your gut, if you know lactobacillus, it exists, we'll have the known microbes added. And the another one is mock community, meaning modeled and designed community. We run that so that in these metagenomic methods it is very much liable to errors. We've been talking about sequences. Sequences is just the pattern of the bases. If during amplification or any other thing, if the sequence goes wrong, it is going to lead to wrong meanings. So while the sample preparation or getting the DNA amplification, we must focus on the correct identification and we have to have good quality check. We must ensure that the sequence which we are giving a name or we are identifying that this is a species, we must ensure that this is that species. So one was that, then we'll go for amplification, we'll amplify. I said we use Illumina sequencing, most probably, that being very rapid, very fast, and it gives you huge number of sequences. And after these sequences, you have got these sequences, and I told you about in the previous section, I already told you that we have hypervariable region. In the microbiome studies, human microbiome, the hypervariable region have been defined and usually we amplify from that region. And we amplify and then we sequence and we get the sequences. Because I work with sequences very often and I've been dealing with several bioinformatic tools, again I like to answer this question: how will you select the software? And software for your metagenomic data analysis or for your gut data is that if you Google 16S analysis, you would get two main names. One is Motur and the other is Chime. Both are very widely used. Both take pride in themselves on the quality of the support they provide. But I'm just demonstrating the analysis of one data quickly and I am using CHIME just to give you a feel that how such complicated things are made simple with simple methods, standardized methods. And I also want to give you a feel that we have reached to this level of research, this level of information, not only microbiologists, not only biologists, not only medicinal doctors, it is the huge molecular biology and computational people who are working together to give out results like this. So I like to tell a bit more about CHIME. CHIME, the full name is Quantitative Insights into Microbial Ecology, and this is the best in class software, and it's a wrapper basically which has most of the softwares wrapped in which you need for such data analysis. It uses Python and it is developed at University of California, San Diego and North Arizona University. And a quick look at the workflow. We get lots of sequences, we will pre-process them, meaning we assign them to each sample from where they are coming, and we pick up the OTUs, meaning how many species does it contain. We'll make a frequency table, meaning we need to know the dynamics, which species and how they are present, that we call as OTU or ASV table. We could give a name to them after this. We have softwares and steps for everything, and I think I'll be able to show you very quickly how we do that. And then you can build a phylogenetic tree if you like to, or you could go to your downstream analysis and you could link it to the parameter which you are studying. Like I have a very small, I picked up this example, just I wanted to show you how your gut microflora data, you could conclude that what is happening in this gut. This sample or this example comes from the Human Genome Project, and this particular data which I have taken has 91,785 sequences, and this is coming from 34 samples. It has a hypervariable region. It has amplified the hypervariable region 4, and Illumina sequencing I told you already. And it has been taken from two healthy individuals. One is male and the other one is female, and they have been sampled at 3 body sites: gut, mouth and skin, and they've been sampled for 6 months every day, so that we wanted to know in this study is that which is the core microbiome, meaning which set of microorganisms are always present around these two individuals. So I told you already, the aim of this experiment was to identify the core microbiome, that is the common group of microbes or genes that are likely to be important for the host function. And it had many samples. I said I took 34 samples. And if you want to run CHIME, you got to have Ubuntu installed. It doesn't, at present state of affairs, meaning I picked up the simplest version that is in the Microsoft Store. If you go and install Ubuntu there, that becomes the simplest. So once you get your Ubuntu installed, you will get a dollar prompt like this I have shown for myself, and rest of the commands you could follow from CHIME website. They are very simply like copy and paste. And once you have CHIME installed, like any other download complete in Windows, you will get a DOS prompt like this, where CHIME 201.4 would be written on the left side. And if you are a beginner, in fact for general this thing, if you're trying, please don't try to understand what are these commands, but run them safely and carefully. You will need 4 type of data files. I said sequence file is must, and then we have sequence file in FASTQ format. We have barcode files. All these come from the NGS, the Illumina sequencing. Metadata file, classifier files. What are these classifier files is, I said already, we have to have pre-identified sequence, meaning in my gut, if I find a OTU and if I say it is Lactobacillus, I must have the already identified sequence of that, so that I can compare and say that this is Lactobacillus. So we must have these 4 type of files. And the other step which is very, very crucial, I already highlighted, is the quality check. or the pre-processing steps. Is the quality filter, meaning we should in the first go, like I said, we had 99,000 some sequences, we would leave in this quality control most of the sequences which are going to create problem. So I don't believe that you can do it manually. We have softwares again, and Chime is quite good in that. It performs with the help of commands. You have demultiplexing, quality filter, deionizing and denoising, and with this denoising you could remove all these sequences which are going to create problem or which are going to leave the wrong data. So they have scores, meaning more of statistical methods and computational methods, and they believe in removing those sequences which are going to give you error from the very beginning. So then you pick up the OTUs, and from my 99,000 sequences in my this study where I was trying to analyze that data with the help of Chime, I found that it has 485 OTUs. That means what? In my gut, in the gut data which I am studying, it has 485 bacterial sequences. Mostly those were bacteria, that is why I could say bacterial species present. And then once I know they are 425, I would like to give them a name. And again, the Chime has designed a place like this site. If you copy and paste, you could go there and observe your OTUs, and they directly take you to BLAST also if you want to study them further. They give you hyperlink, and then you can give them name to this all your sequences. So here are the names of these sequences, and you get a quantitative data like this, is meaning which sequence cluster or which bacteria, they are always together in a common terms. This means what? It will tell you which all bacteria fungi combination is always together, and which change with time, which is different in male and female, because we were studying one male and one female. And you know, it requires lots of efforts and expertise and experience, meaning it is the things as they become multidisciplinary. Of course, you apply lots of things from the other branches, but you got to know everything. So here you have to have a good understanding of microbes, the biology of the gut, then you also know the lots of computational methods, softwares, and a bit of statistics, ecology, environment. So if you have that foundation, you could study this gut microflora and get best out of it. And believe me, the few slides next to this, they are going to generate more interest in studying the gut microflora and in the food which we are eating. I understand I was quite quick in telling you this Chime and this microflora, how do we analyze these sequences, the microbiome, but I had to plan my things according to time, and I would suggest you to see my 4 lectures on metagenomic data analysis which I have given for CEC already, and I also request you to visit the Chime website, right? So then you will be able to understand, but the idea of this talk here was to generate your interest. So let us now talk about some of the interesting finding and the studies in this context. First is that microbes are linked to weight gain. If my gut is not having good or right microbes, it is going to, meaning it is linked to weight gain. All my efforts for reducing the weight would go waste if your gut microbes are not right. And we will also talk about the benefit of high fiber diet and fermented food. We will also talk about the probiotics. We will also talk about their role in immune system and central nervous system. So first about the weight gain, and for this weight gain, the breakthrough research was done in 2006 by Peter Turnbow, and the Peter Turnbow, he studied the gut microbiome and he studied the obesity associated gut microbiome, and he said that there is a link, there is a connection. So his interesting study, what he did in his study was he took mice there is germ-free mice. What does that mean? Germ-free mice is grown in sterile environment, in sterile conditions, meaning they don't have any microbe in them. They are microbe free. So these germ-free mice, they had two separate type of mice. One was the lean mice, meaning they had lean mice, they had germ-free mice, they had obese mice, fat mice, right? So they had three types of mice in the beginning, and what they did is they took the microbiome from the lean mice, they took the microbiome from the fat mice, and what did they do? To this germ-free mice, they injected, they gave one set of germ-free mice, they gave the lean microbiome inoculation, and to the other set of mice, they gave the fat microbiome inoculation, and one was control. To all three, they gave same amount of diet, same environment, same water, same wine, everything same, right? And they grew them for a while. What did they observe? That the germ-free mice line, which had received the the fat microbiota, actually increased in their body size twice, meaning despite being given same amount of food, same time, same duration, same water, same living conditions, they were 2 times fat than the previous mice. So what did this indicate? This showed you clearly that microbiome has a very serious implications in your weight loss program. So you got to change your diet pattern, change your microbiome, then only you will be able to maintain in your leanness. You might have observed very often, people, they lose their weight, but their gut is not right. Very quickly they get it back. Just because your weight loss efforts have to be for longer duration, so that your gut microbiome is adjusted, and then only you don't gain that much of weight. So it is linked to the microbiota. So what the detailed investigation, further studies with this experiment took us to is that there are certain complex carbohydrates in our food, or maybe the dietary fibers. What happens with those? Meaning, especially I take the example of broccoli. What happens is that if you eat broccoli and you have complex carbohydrates or fibers, it's a rich diet, broccoli. What will happen in case of broccoli is that it will not digest these fibers, they will direct go to the large intestine, and you don't get benefit of these carbohydrates. And why this happens with us? Because our genome that do not encode the genes for degrading these complex carbohydrates, meaning if you want to get a benefit of this, we must harbor these bacteria which can digest them, get their benefit in our large intestine. So what the gut bacteria in our large intestine do? They consume these complex carbohydrates. The simple carbohydrates our body can digest and give us energy, fructose and the simpler one, but the complex one is this gut bacteria. They have the capacity, have the genes to digest them, and not only they digest these bacteria, they secrete lots of microbial metabolites. They are their waste product. The metabolites are the waste products of these bacteria, but they are like a drug for us. So when they are released in our body, we are healthier. So not only they help us in weight loss, I said, they also help us in digesting the complex carbohydrates or the fibers, and they will secrete certain metabolites that will make us healthier and help us in maintaining the lean or the slimmer weight, less weight. And these molecules, they do lots of things, like they've been linked with diabetes. They have the ability to control the blood glucose. They can improve our metabolism, they can improve our immune system. So with these metabolites, the connection of gut goes to all the body. And I told you this already, I like to emphasize again, our body does not synthesize, our genome does not have the genes to synthesize, to digest this complex carbohydrates and metabolize that. So we need to harbor these bacteria which could in our large intestine. So going further, we talk a bit about probiotics. What is probiotics? Now we all know it's a routine household thing, but probiotics are the live microorganisms that it is promoted with the claims that they will provide us the health benefit when consumed, and they generally aim to restore our gut flora which is there, meaning at least restore or improve good gut flora so that we get a good digestion. But it is not always, whether a probiotic or a live microorganisms can improve your gut flora does not depend on what microorganism is coming. I said it also depends on what you have in your gut already. That is why I said we are approaching to personalized medicine, because basically it is the ecology or the nature, the microbes which we have in our gut, how they are interacting, which is able to survive in that condition and which can fight better and make its place. All that decides, the ecological interactions basically decide what finally will be the outcome of these probiotics which you are taking, and whether you can derive the benefit from that or not. So we not only these complex carbohydrates or fibers, we have micronutrients and like calcium, trace elements, iron, iodine, vitamins. All these, they are present in our food, but we cannot get all benefit of that on our own with our own genes. We need microorganisms, and these microorganisms in our body not only providing us the micronutrients or these vitamins and these iron, micronutrients and trace elements, but they also allow us to have a higher store of that in our body, so that whenever we need it is available. So it is a very significant contribution of these microbes in our body is that they remain there. They not only extract more micronutrients, they allow us to have a higher store of them, and so they also help us in that way. And now comes to the wines which we like, maybe coffee, tea, polyphenols, blueberries, blackberry. So we have lots of food material which we enjoy, and a common fact which has come out of study is that the most interesting thing here is that we don't have the capacity. Usually these polyphenols are largely not absorbed by me. It is the microorganisms in my large intestine. They directly go to the large intestine and they are bioactivated by the microorganisms. Then only you get the benefit of these polyphenols. See, I don't like to tell you here about the benefits of vitamin A, B, C, D, K or maybe polyphenols, but without these microbes you cannot derive the best benefit of these polyphenols, or maybe you could say tea, coffee or wines which you are taking in. So I already told you that this gut microbiome, it influences the remote organs also. Not only it limits itself to the gut, its influence goes to the remote organs, and it is linked to the immune response of my body. That is why it is useful now, has been implicated in chemotherapies for cancer treatment. So we are reaching to the era of precision medicine. I told you already while telling you about the probiotics is that for precision medicine our focus is on identifying the precise medicine for a person, meaning personalized, like for my gut, for my body, which probiotic in my genetic environment, in my lifestyle factors, which probiotic or which microorganism is going to help me the best. That is what we do in precise medicines. So microbiome is laying a foundation for precision medicine treatments and diagnostics, and lots of such methods are on the way. Very soon you will see that you believe in these methods and you work on these methods. So lastly but not the least, here we have this picture where I am saying that these microbiomes or this knowledge is really going to improve our drug or disease treatment methods and get us better ways of the treatments. See, I'm showing you one picture, and in this picture, you know, it helps you both ways, as a couple and as a one person, because microorganisms are very quickly transmitted from one person to another. So coming to the end, I said yes, it made sense to talk about microbiome on World Food Day, and we could talk a lot about food and wines, but I want to wish you happy World Food Day. And I have a caution here, please don't miss out the role of taste buds. Not only talk about microbiomes, the taste buds are very important. You should enjoy your food also. Happy World Food Day once again. Thank you very much. Thank you for patient listening. Have a good day. Thank you.